Hey, this is Asha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. And what I want to share with you today are the 4 technical indicators that you could use if you're an option trader. Now, this goes along with some of the new upcoming course that we have specifically for people that are interested in reading charts as they're trading options. So stay tuned. All right, so this is the upcoming course. I don't even have the sales page fully done yet, but you will be able to use coupon code ChartsLove14 before Valentine's Day, so February 14th, to be able to get a discount, $50 off of this course. Okay, now this course is going to be packed with all these different modules. It is about, seven hours long. And we're going to look at a handful of different technicals and how much emphasis to use when it comes to how do you tweak these technicals? How do you use the technicals in options trade? How much emphasis do you give it? How would I make my decision-making process when I get into the trade or before I get in, during the trade, and after the trade as I'm trying to exit? So that's really what we're going to cover, looking at things like using moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastics, how to set up some of these trades like a long portfolio strategy, maybe a non-directional strategy, wide price spread, what is it, and many more. So there's a handful of different things, and they're all in detail, right? So it's 7 hours long. We're going to go in detail of each one of these things and cover much more ground for looking at the charts and how they apply to options trading. So if you're interested in this course, look in the description there, check that out, and there's much more to come. So enjoy this other free video with the 4 technical indicators that you could use as an options trader. All right, so I know that a lot of people that get into trading options, they hone in and they focus so much on technical analysis. It's not really where I think you should put your focus in on. I think portfolio management or position management really is much more important and critical than trying to pick a perfect entry point. With that being said, I think a lot of people still are interested in technical analysis. There's a lot of people that, they gravitate towards, I want to look at the technicals. I want to see if this is a good long investment. I want to position it. And I think that's all fine and great. But again, remember, that's maybe only about 5 or 10% of really what you should focus on. Focus on the managing the position. Anyways, with that being said, looking at this video, I will share with you some insight on technical analysis. So if you're interested in technical analysis, here's some places to start with and some of the indicators to look at. Now, there's thousands of indicators out there. Which one do you pick? How do you go about it? It's all a matter of which ones you're comfortable with. It's kind of like, hey, which car do you choose to drive? Well, hey, some people like a hybrid, some people like a truck, some people want a van. It's really up to you. Some people want fancy sports cars. Whatever makes sense for you. If you got a fancy sports car, but you got 8 kids, you probably can't fit all of them in a sports car. So get the one that makes sense for you. So here, that's what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple of indicators you could check out. Before we do that, take a look at the Getting Started page here at our Traders Fly website for options trading. And you can also look at a lot of the freebies that we have. And you can download a bunch of these freebies absolutely free. So that way you can get notified as we release other great goodies. And you can also check out some great courses here, which help support the team and all the other people that make these videos possible. Okay, now let's take a look at a couple of indicators. I'll share with you some quick insight. I think you should keep it very simple. I typically just look at charts like this. I'd say anytime, remember, probably only about 5% of the time I'm really actually looking at charts. And out of that 5%, 90% of the time I'm looking at something more like this. This is my typical viewpoint. Now, I do record videos more like this. Why do I record videos like this? Because it's easier to see. It's easier to see on screen. But I typically look at things with bar charts like this, open, high, low, close. I think it's just a lot easier for me to follow things, and it's much more clean. I've just gotten used to it over the years. But lately I've also been more attracted to, as I get older, to the candlesticks and recording videos for you guys. So anyway, I think for most people, you really just need some basic support, resistance, price levels when you're trading with options, right? So we're talking about technical analysis for options traders, not like day traders, not swing traders. We're talking about option traders. So here, when we look at this, just basic support and resistance levels is kind of all you really need to know as far as technicals. So you pick a couple points where swing points where stocks are bouncing off of or rejecting or breaking through, and there's kind of your levels. Combine that with volume and price patterns. That's about all you really need. I think adding in like a moving average, like a 20-day or 100-day or 200-day also is handy and helpful. Now, that's kind of my personal perspective. as you get better, you might want to tie it into an indicator. Now, what's the point of an indicator? Most indicators, they take price and volume anyway, and they just kind of repurpose the information. It's kind of like when you look at a graph or a chart on Excel, or you look at a graph or visual representation of a chart of the data. And all that does is just take the numbers and put it in a visual perspective. So many of these indicators do, they take price and volume and somehow manipulate price and volume, most of them, and they reinterpret the data. So for example, what I mean by that is, let's say we take the moving average. Well, what does that do? It takes the average of price and it creates a line here for you. The 20-day here, the same thing, or 20-week, depending on the time frame, it again creates a line for you. So as we look to a couple of indicators here, I'll show you one that I like. Here's one that colors the bars, and this is one that colors the bars on moving averages. And I think this is great for for option traders, because it gives you an idea of trends. Anytime there's a range above a certain moving average, this is what I've done. Anytime it's above a range, it kind of colors it a little bit blue. Now that doesn't mean that it's bullish right away. It doesn't mean you go bullish, because look, just because it's above the moving average doesn't mean price is going higher. So for example, like right here, this one was blue, but it still moved sideways, and you had a few blue points. It just gives you an idea, right? It just gives you an idea. And also just looking at the moving average itself, just look at the moving average. How is it? Is it flatlining, or is it kind of increasing? And just take a few points, 1 point all the way to this point. Just look at the overall trend. Just draw a straight line from 2 points. That kind of gives you an idea and perspective. Let's go ahead and look maybe, let's see. How about, let's see, I lost the setting there. How about we look at a graph picture, maybe more like this. So let me go ahead and edit chart properties. We'll go to candlesticks. And how do we go ahead and add that back in? You can just go ahead and edit this and add some color bars to a condition. So we could go ahead and add a moving average right here. You could do it based on a simple moving average, and where the moving average is above the moving average of 50, or you could do it on above moving average of 20, whatever kind of suits your perspective. And there you go. And you can see there's kind of our moving average above 50 or 20. And that's how you could go about doing it. So now you can see, okay, I've got all these other moving averages. I could go ahead and remove them right there. And now it gives you a little perspective, right? Here's a moving average. We'll go ahead and change that to 20 as well. And now you can see, there it is. There's my trend. There's my line. Okay. And now this one, you can see, hey, this one's pretty quick. So maybe if I got into this stock, I might be a little bit more leaning bullish, a little more positive delta. It's not that I would totally change my full position around, but just gives you an idea. Maybe this could be a long portfolio kind of stock. So you're looking at something like that. That could be a way to use it. But again, remember, this is like a smaller part of your decision-making process. So that's kind of idea number one. Idea number two, or indicator number two, is kind of average true range. I think this is a good one for a lot of option traders, because when you look at just the bars, the bar size, this kind of gives you an idea of bar size, right? With when we're talking about breadth, when we're talking about kind of behavior. And when you look at that, you can see the average true range here starts to accelerate. Why? Because these bars keep getting bigger. You can see that in, let's say, Autodesk here. You can see when we have a sell-off here, that average true range goes there. We flatline here, and as we move up, we're slowing things down, and there we go. We're slowing that average true range down. That's another indicator that you could kind of use. Take a look at other stocks as well. Look, you're going up, but you're going up very slow. Average true range is not that big. Once you get little pullbacks, the bars usually get bigger, or you get significant sell-offs, the bars get very big. And that gives you an idea, again, the ranges that you're kind of, hey, are you at the lower end? Are you going up fast, or are you going up slow? So it gives you an indication here. Again, how would you maybe use this? Well, if you're moving down very quickly, or this is starting to pick up, it might be, hey, based on maybe also the trend, you might want to give a little extra room if this is starting to pick up. On the other hand, if this is starting to slow down, that could mean prices are either heading up, or your bars will slowly start slowing down on the direction, which is usually on the upside here. So that's another indicator that you could use. Bollinger Bands. This is another one that you could check out. Let's go to Win. And when you look at, let's say, a daily Bollinger Band, it just tells you how far stretched bars are from a moving average, right? Standard deviation based. So what you can do is, as you see we are above and near the top, probably you'll get a pullback, or way above the 2 standard deviation, you'll probably get that pullback, and that's what happens. So if you're outside these ranges, not that you can't be outside of them, because you can see this happen multiple times, but it just tells you we're getting stretched. And that's when you eventually get the pullback. And then again, you might be stretched and you get the pullback there. Okay, so looking at Bollinger Bands, you can check them out on different stocks. You can look at it on a weekly. Here's a daily, but here's a weekly. Like, let's say you got a big uptrend on Apple. You could even look at it maybe in the monthly. Monthly wise, hey, you're probably stretched. This stock's been going up for a while. Weekly, somewhat stretched. Daily, you can see, hey, still looks all right. So that's the bigger point, is that when you start looking at these Bollinger Bands on a perspective, hey, this thing could still be in that upper range, especially for growth stocks and companies. So that's something to consider. All right, the last one I'll mention for you is the RSI. And the RSI indicator just kind of tells you a little bit of the strength. So when we're looking at strength, you're looking at kind of overbought, oversold conditions. So if I look at RSI here at this bottom level, and you kind of line it up and pair it up, it's still not perfect, right? Just because you were at this point in time and you're kind of oversold at this level doesn't mean stock can't go lower. That's why, again, I don't emphasize you just make a decision based on technicals. So you can see we continued to move lower, even though here the RSI was a little bit higher. So take a look right there. But we continue to move lower in the stock. So keep in mind, multiple decision factors, right? And over here, as we continue to move higher, finally starting to go there. And here, even at all-time high points, we're breaking out. Doesn't mean now all overbought, stock can't go higher. And look at this, we're still overbought for a while. So my point is that just look at these things as a little bit of a guide, a little bit of an idea. Hey, maybe we're overbought, but it doesn't mean it can't go higher. Maybe we're oversold, and it could be an idea where, hey, you might want to take some profits. Now, could you just see this on the chart without having RSI? Absolutely, because look, just take the moving average or just look at the way price moved. You're probably stretched. Or here, you've just been going up for a long time. Look, you've just been going up. So over time, you probably get a little pause, and that's what happens. If you look at any stock like a recent Tesla, right here, look, you get to the top, eventually you got to pull back a little bit. That's just normal. Anytime you get those kinds of movements on any company, as you start ramping up, you'll probably get a somewhat of a pullback. I'm not saying it's going to last for a long time because these are strong companies, but you'll get some kind of bar that'll take momentum downward. It doesn't matter what the company is. Here is DraftKings as well. Look at this. You've had a huge acceleration, and you get the pullback, right? Even though this company is very, very strong, very powerful. And look at RSI here for you. Even at this level, it was kind of overbought, continued to be overbought, continued to be overbought. Look at that. You're way at overbought levels, okay? Doesn't mean it can't go higher. But then, look, you eventually will get that pullback. So it gives you an indication that now maybe, hey, it could be an opportunity to start looking at things at lower prices for long investment and that kind of thing. So those are a couple of indicators for you. I would definitely start with, hey, just learning and understanding volume and price, just understanding support and resistance. Then you might go ahead and stack moving averages onto it or coloring some bars there to giving you an idea. Then you might go ahead and look at average true ranges and Bollinger Bands, if you want to look at those kinds of things. And then after that, maybe the RSI. Beyond that, could you pair it with a MACD, stochastics, and that kind of thing? Absolutely. But that's a matter of personal perspective. And just choose one or two that you like and what makes sense for you. And I'd say 90% of the time you won't be looking at these. But what you'll do is you'll look at these candlesticks here. And as you look at things, you're like, hey, this is down here. I'm just kind of quickly curious, how far stretched is it to the downside on a Bollinger Band? And you might just take a quick peek. It's down there, but it's not, really, it's not mega oversold. And that's all you would do. You would just take a quick peek and then you just kind of go back to your normal world. Oh, okay. And then look at your position. How is the position structured? Because the position in the way is anyway much more important. But for those of you that are into technical analysis and you want to look at some of this stuff, here's a couple things and thoughts and insights. I'll probably do a little bit of a course or webinar more on technical analysis for option traders soon. All right, so there you go. Hope you found that video helpful, insightful, and gave you some things to think about. You can go ahead and grab this course by going to our website at tradersfly.com. Once you're there, just scroll down on the homepage. You'll see that course kind of right there. You can also go to our main course website, Rise, the number 2, LEARN, and then just same thing, scroll down. This will be the direct page. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to finish it up probably by the time you get there. So this is just kind of because I'm recording this ahead of time, but you'll be able to kind of see something that looks like this, and then pick up the course as needed. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, grab some other great freebies that I have, or continue watching some more videos. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.